Hang on, let me make sure it's. Let me make sure it's.
I love you, Todd.
Let's see here. Hang on. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, yeah. I haven't used Zoom in a long time,
I'm
but
sorry.
we're still multi-streaming. I just had to send it over to the restream. Let's see here. Go ahead.
So I connected. I saw this show, and I just thought I've got to ring Morgan and have a session with her. So we got the time, or I got the times mixed up a couple of times. I woke up at 2 hours early. I was so excited. Then finally clicked on. Then I was 2 hours early, so I had to wait another 2 hours. So finally we got to see each other, and Morgan just cried for 15 minutes.
Really?
We just couldn't. We just kept just looking at each other. It was just the most amazing, wonderful, yummy experience, honestly.
Was that the first time y'all met? Yeah, I remember. I was there. We were in Sedona, I believe. It was
And
September.
you, and no, that was before Sedona.
The other Sedona. It was like September of what was it? 2020. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
So
I might have stuck my head in there and said hello to you because when I'm sitting here with you, I'm thinking I'm having a deja vu and I'm going, have we already done a show together? So this is exciting.
It is exciting. I don't know where to begin. It's been a journey. And I've had so many beautiful people on my journey, Todd, honestly. I'm holding a lingam today that was manifested in my hand when I was at Kerala in India. And this man, I was at this little ashram, and I came down for breakfast, and he said to me, your mother. And I said, yes. She said, she's there. And I said, yes. He said, what's her name? And I said, Unity. And he said, oh my God, Unity. He said, she's with Mary and Jesus, and she was a great woman. And I started to cry because she passed away in 2008. And I'm sitting there, and he points to my hand, and I gave him the wrong hand, so I put the other hand out, and he just manifested that lingam into my hand.
Well, that's powerful.
So this is the masculine, feminine energy. You look up lingam. And so, but I've had many, many lovely, yummy experiences. Ended up in Egypt in 2002 in a sound and colour healing, and with the holy man, and went right up to the Sphinx. It's just been incredible.
Wow.
Incredible. So I picked out something to read, if that's all right. Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
In 2000, I went through 9 months of depression, and I wasn't any good whatsoever. And I started writing, automatic writing, and I didn't know what I was doing. And this was in 2000. And this is the sort of stuff I was getting. But I'm not good at English, Todd. I've never been a good student. Like, it's just not me. But this is what was coming out on the paper. You have come far from to this point of knowledge. True trust, true love, true acceptance. Your acceptance of self is at a time of great transformation. For humanity of the soul, of all oneness of truth. Here, listen to all the messages now. Don't dismiss any message. Everything has a message of truth. More will unfold with time. The feelings that you have within your body are for attention. Pay attention. This brings you to knowing of truth. It's our way to keep you on your path. It is our gentle way for you to take notice. Ask when you have these feelings to reveal to you the aspect of the message. The more you ask, the more you will come to your truth. Gentle, gentle, for this is the way of love of your soul, for your light to shine. Feel it, accept it, know it, and this is your truth. We are so proud of all of you. It is our delight to see this time unfold. It is like seeing the truth of humanity blossom and give birth. You are experiencing the truth, being a child of creation. It is a time to experience birth of creation. Breathe in your life force. Go through the birth canal to your light and the oneness of your divinity. No fear, no separation. This is your truth. This is your birth of love and oneness. Rejoice, rejoice, for the time is nigh.
So you wrote that in 2000? In 2000?
Yes.
So technically speaking, how long were you awake before you wrote that? Did you just wake up one night and wrote it? I mean,
as a child, I loved fairy tales. I loved Peter Pan. I came from a family of 6, and my sister to me was 8 years older, so I was like an only child. I believed in make-believe and all that. And at 13, I was away on school holidays, and I'd really toyed with going away or not, because it was going to be, I was going to be away for my birthday. So I eventually went with a cousin, and we got a phone call at a country town in Western Australia called Mora. And the woman said, came out and said to us, your mother is sick, Gail, and you have to go home. And I just looked at my cousin and said, Dad's dead. And we got put on a bus, and I said to my cousin, if Dad's not at the bus station to pick me up, I know, he's dead. And he wasn't at the bus station. And so I always felt different, Todd. I didn't fit with my family. We moved when Dad died, and the boy over the road had a bit of a crush on me, and he was head bell ringer at the Anglican church in Perth. So he asked me to go. So I thought, oh, well, I'll go. And I'd never been to church. Everybody else was made to go to church, but not me. And I went there, and I just got in awe of the mysticism of it all, but felt very shameful that I wasn't confirmed, so I couldn't go up for confirmation. So then I, got married and came to Busselton and put myself through communion, confirmation, and brought the kids up going to Sunday school and stuff like that. And we moved to Perth, and I continued with the church, but then I had a lovely experience with a man called Father Justin Berlitz in the 80s that taught, it was called, he still runs it, called Successful Living. And I did that over a weekend, and it just changed my life. And I went to the church then and said, I've got these wonderful meditation, because I thought if I did meditation anywhere else, I'd end up in Jonestown. So I had to do a Christian one. And the minister just went like this, And so I came home that day and I said to the kids, sit down. I've got 3 of the most amazing daughters, 49, 47 and 43. And I said, kids, sit down. I've got something to tell you. And they said, what? And I said, I'm not going to church anymore. But if you would like to go to church, I'll take you. And they went, yay!
They
So
did.
thank God for that, Mum. So I've never been back. And then about 35, I was just sitting in the family room one day and I thought, this can't be all there is in life. You know, you just don't get up every morning and get the kids off to school and come home, clean the house, work, go and pick the kids up, do homework, have tea, go to bed and start over again. And that's when I then did a course from a wonderful man in Mexico that's died, Jose Silva. He did a course. I don't know.
Silva mind control, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did that in the 80s. And my husband at the time, he did it as well. And then my eldest daughter at 14, she did it. My daughter at 12 did it. And my youngest daughter at 8 did it. And it was the most amazing thing.
Wow. A conscious family in the 80s. A whole household doing the Silva mind control meditation, because it's really a process of meditation specific, right?
Yes, and it takes in your left and right brain hemisphere. It teaches you to go to a laboratory within you, and in that laboratory you have a masculine and a feminine, and in that laboratory you have everything you need to heal yourself.
Beautiful.
And so I end up helping the people that were running it. I helped them for 8 years.
Really?
And I just absolutely adored it. It was just amazing. My eldest daughter went to Japan as an exchange student, and she came back and she couldn't find something one day in her, bedroom, her chaotic mess, she called it. And I said, have you gone to Level to find it? And she went, no. And I said, well, go to Level and find it. She went, oh, all right. So she came out about 2 days later and she went, I found it. I said, oh, really? So that's how the 3 girls, poor darlings, have been brought up with this mother that's a bit wacky.
Did you see in the family circle with 5 people, or I guess 5 people doing this, like any effect, like in just the collective consciousness in that household?
It was hard to say in those days because all this, honestly, Todd, I used to come home from doing this sort of stuff and just get so excited and wanted all my friends that I loved to come and do it. But I learnt that I had to shut my mouth because it ended up people think I was wacky, and my family never ever talked to me about. I eventually went on to do reiki in the late 80s, and people just didn't talk about this stuff. But it was in the 80s where I, in my work here in my clinic, when clients come, I give them to share. I've always known, I don't know, wherever, that what I say and what I think is, and that's what I learned from Father Justin Blitz, what I say and what I think goes out to the universe, and that's what I receive. So I have to be very mindful on my words. And so years ago, I started, in the 80s, I went and did a whole day with a fellow called Gerald Jampolsky, and he's a doctor in America, and he wrote Love is Letting Go of Fear, Teach Only Love, and Goodbye to Guilt. And in Love is Letting Go of Fear, he's got a page in that of all the negative words that is so important to take out of your vocabulary. So every person that rocks up to my door gets one of those sheets, and also a sheet of faces, because I've always believed you've got to come from feeling, and if you don't know how you feel, you don't know yourself. So that's what. So answering your question, I think it was too challenging in the 80s to come out. You know, yes, we did connect with a lot of people in those days that were doing this, but it certainly wasn't the norm.
No, I don't think so. I mean, that was like there was self-help, and then there was like at that time when letting love is letting go of fear. That was his name was what? Leo
No,
Bescavalier?
no, Gerald Jampolsky, but
Jim Polsky. Jim Polsky, yeah.
I read in the 90s, I read Leo Biscalia's Living, Learning and Loving. And all I wanted to do was jump on a plane and go to America and learn how to run that course.
Wow.
Because I just think I've always felt very naive, I suppose, but I've always thought that love is everything. Love is it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just going to say, like that period of time, the 80s, there was like right before the shift of books, I guess, and I guess the internet as well. But you were, I mean, did you feel like in the 80s during this time, did you feel like you had a calling
Yeah.
that came with the information? And you said that's your establishment where you're at.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've been there a while and you've been doing it a while.
Yeah. I did. Well, it changed from that day at 35. I just went and did courses and courses and courses and courses. And in my heart, I only ever went to 2 that didn't feel right. And I did have the courage to get up and leave. But I've always been guided, you know, like Father Justin Blitz, I'm still friends with in America. He's just an amazing man. And another fellow, Nigel Taylor, he's in America, he's in New Jersey. I did a lot of work with him and his first wife in the Silver Method, and then went into Reiki. And even though, you know, I remember in those days, I went through a marriage breakup, and I remember in those days, 2 girlfriends in, you know, real estate and in business, and here's wafty little me doing my little hands-on stuff. But I've never given up. I've never, ever given up. And the day I turned 40, I knew that my marriage was breaking up. And I went to the beach. A girlfriend said, "What are you going to do?" And I used to run at 6 in the morning. I'd go to the beach and run and then swim every morning. And I went to the beach, Todd, and honestly, I had the most, I never told anybody for years. I got to the beach and it was like my Father and Jesus were standing behind me. And it was just all I got told was, "You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay." And I just ran that beach, and I ran that beach in like a fog, you know, like I was just somewhere else. And, you know, I came home and did all the party things. And then, you know, the marriage unfortunately did break up. But I've never forgotten that feeling. It was like, even though Dad left me at 13, he came back at a time when I needed him the most.
Wow. This divine orchestration between souls.
Yeah. And I feel it, you know, like I do hospice here, I do clients, I teach Reiki. I brought my kids up very spiritual. You know, my middle one used to say to me, "Why can't I have a mother that if I've got a sore throat, you just give me a Disprin instead of saying to me, what do you need to say to somebody?"
Oh my God. That was good in so many ways, including the impersonation of a teenager. Uh, Did you even have medicine in your house?
Um, if you had my three daughters here, they'd be going, oh, the stuff that you used to vitamize up for us and make us drink every morning before we.
It was the intention. That's what was important. It was the intention, the energetic impact, and their openness to it, right?
Yeah. And I've got three grandchildren and I've already taught them Reiki and they're onto it. My grandson, who's 16, when he was about 10, he said to his mum, that's Nonny, that's Yoda's Nonny. So yeah, I've been this crazy woman all my life and I've just had so many blessings. You can relate to all this, can't you?
No, well, no. I mean, it's its own unique, flavor. It's beautiful. What's it like? Or how old were these grandkids when you started teaching them Reiki?
Well, I've always done Reiki. I have been there at St John of God's and helped deliver 5 babies with Reiki, and that was huge because that was in the 90s. One of my clients that used to come to me all the time asked me, and I thought, oh God, what am I going to do? And I didn't know what to do. And my master didn't know what to do. So I just trundled off at 3 a.m. with my little electric incense burner and my cassette player and powered in there, and her blood pressure was really high. And within 5 minutes, they documented that it had come back to normal. So that was the beginning of that. So I've done that. And then my own grandchildren I was there for. So so Tate is 16 now, Rye is 14 and Miller is 13 today, actually. About 3 years ago. And so what I did was maybe longer. I initiated them first because it must have been longer. I initiated them first because they were young, and then I thought, I'll wait until they're a bit old.
What do you mean you initiated them? I got to hear this. What was that like?
So in the Usui method that I learned, you do 4 attunements. I don't really like using the word initiations because people get a bit hung up.
Oh, you mean like Reiki full attunement? Okay, I got you. So you did you did that on them, and then eventually, when they got older, you turned the tables. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Did any of them ever scream at you like your daughter and say, "Give me some medicine"? Wow, that's cool.
No, they've I think my grandson Tate, he just goes, oh yeah, this is Nonny. My 2 granddaughters are really into it, and I've got a beautiful room where I live, and they just go, I love coming into your room, Nonny. It just feels so good.
How old are they?
Miller's 13 today.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. That's right. Those are beautiful names, by the way. Very
Miller.
unique. Very unique. Yeah.
And Rye, she's 14. And Tate.
So it's it sounds like this started for you in the 80s, and you started on the self work.
Yeah.
Long before most of us, right? And as with all of us, things come up, traumas and things like you experienced. Did you consciously apply your knowledge in all the courses you took and what you came into your own, and did you consciously apply that to those moments that were tough?
Yeah, I'm sure I did. Yeah. I remember I was in another relationship after my marriage broke up, and I remember one morning I woke up and I couldn't open my eyes, I couldn't speak, and I couldn't move. And somehow in here, I knew that I had to get to the psychologist I was going to, and I wasn't to get to a doctor or a hospital. And the partner at the time, he believed a bit in what I was doing, so he picked me up and took me out to my work room, and he had done Reiki, did Reiki on me all day, and I got out. Apparently my face was quite distorted, and I got out of my mouth, please ring my psychologist. And normally you wouldn't get into him. I mean, it was just, he got in at 5 o'clock that night. By the time I got to him, I could walk, I could talk, but I couldn't open my eyes. And he said to me, he said, what's going on? And so I explained to him what the day had been like. And he said, thank goodness, he was a wonderful man. He is a wonderful man. He said, for a better word, you're having a breakdown. And he said, if you'd gone to the doctors, you would have ended up in a mental home.
Wow.
And he said, what's happening is, Gail, he said, your physical body is fighting your spiritual body. You're going through a shift. And so he said, just do nothing, have some time off. Well, at that time, I was a single mum bringing up these kids on my own, and I didn't have any money, and I had to go back to dental nursing 2.5 days a week, and I hadn't done that for 20 years. So I had to go to work because I had to feed these kids. And I went to work and I collapsed again and came back, and then I started seeing a friend of mine who was a psychic and a healer, and eventually I got through that. But it was just like I knew somewhere inside what he was saying to me was true.
Wow.
And I remember at that time waking up about 3 a.m, crying my eyes out, going, I'm it. I can't blame anybody for anything. I am it. This all, yes, I'm responsible for my daughters, who were 17, 15 and 11 at the time, but I'm responsible. And that was just mortifying.
Yeah.
I had nothing to do about it.
It's like that brutal honesty of the soul. There is no discussion. There's no debate. It's not about what we tell ourselves or whatever, but you either do it or you don't.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing that. That was intense.
It's scary.
It's very intense.
And you didn't have any, like I would get woken up at all hours of the morning, Todd, and I was in a little 2-bedroom house at the time, and and a sleep out, and my youngest daughter was one end and I was the other with my work. And I just get told at, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, anytime, get up. And I'd go, I don't want to get up. Get up and go and sit in your meditation chair. And this, like I was a defiant child sometimes I'm not doing this. It's cold, or I've got no heater on.
I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to go to school.
But I found that when it wasn't about not being, I hear people say, I can't sleep. It's not about that. It's about paying attention. It's about making a commitment to yourself and your journey. And, when I got up and went and sat in my chair, I sometimes would sit there for 20 minutes, go back to bed, and I'd go back to bed like that. other times I was told to pick up this book or listen to this tape or sit in silence and hear what you were being told.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it was in those days, because you didn't have anybody else to go to ask what's happening here. You know, when my work changed with, you know, I began to use my voice for toning, and I did a course with the Osho people. Every morning at 6 a.m, I would go down to Fremantle. I've done some wacky things. I went down to this meditation, and I didn't know a soul, walked in, nobody talked to you. There was a woman sitting at the end of the room. So I went up and said, you know, I'm new. And she goes, okay, well, this goes into 4 different sorts of music, and, you know, you don't talk to anybody, you just do your own thing. I went, oh, okay. So the first music starts and everybody's going, ho, 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 jumping up and down. So I went, all right. So the second one was everybody starts, Todd, swearing, fuck you, piss off, yelling and screaming. And I've got my eyes closed and I'm going, oh God, what am I doing here? And I was going, So then it stopped, the music changed, and you had to be still for 15 minutes. And then you couldn't move, and then it started again, and then you would just do this dance of celebration. Well, I did that for a whole year. And it just changed me totally. I can roar at you now if I need to.
Oh my God, that's so awesome.
But I didn't tell people that I was doing it. I did, but I didn't tell, because I was wacky enough as it is, you know. But it's like listening to your guidance of what your inner, what do you want to call it, your higher self, you've got divinity, whatever you want to put the word on, is just keep listening to you, because you've got all the answers.
Mm.
You know, I say that to every client, and like every client that comes into me now, I'm getting told to tell you that, and I'm going to tell you that I see the most beautiful, wonderful soul, and you're magnificent and you're beautiful, and you just got to love yourself to be. And I really believe that. And I believe that's what we're here to do with each other. Simple, really.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's that moment you described. And if it has to happen again and again, it will. And it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing I learned is I don't have to know.
That's right.
I don't have to know anything. I know nothing. You know, one of the ladies that I taught Reiki 1 and Reiki 2 with quite a few years ago, I went and had a session with her, and she's a beautiful worker and does lovely, knew all about aura soma and the angels and archangels and everything. And at the end of the session, I said to her, Ray, that was just amazing. You know so much. I said, I don't know anything like that you know. She just looked at me and she said, you don't have to. And I said, why? Why not? And she said, you believed and I didn't.
I don't have a mic to drop, but when I had my moment, it was faith. That's all it was. And I said this many times, but I looked in the dictionary under transitive verb, and it says to trust, believe.
Yeah.
I mean, the end of the day, what else do you have? That's not hope.
No, no.
Faith is that 10% that we're never going to be, it's never going to be proved before our eyes. It's,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's not even fearless because there is no fear.
No. No. And one of, I've been very blessed to do some beautiful, like go to Egypt and do that with a holy group and go to Machu Picchu, and I've gone to some beautiful places, and I don't know what I was going to say, lost it.
That's what I was going to tell you when we were trying to get on, dealing with everything like this 3D stuff.
I know. And it's like, I mean, I don't know what I even think these days, really. Like my mind's different. It's not, I'm more solitary with myself than I've ever been. Though I am quite a solitary person and I love my own company, but I don't need people. But I'm very fussy with who I spend my time with, and that's probably selfish. I don't suffer fools easy, like I seem to be getting more frustrated in my years now that I just don't want to talk shit. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
And I'd rather be here with myself. I've got a beautiful partner who isn't really into any of this, but has built this beautiful room at the back where I live. It's magic, and people walk in here and absolutely love it because it's like a Bali room. And I knew him when I live in Busselton in Western Australia, which is about 3 hours from Perth. And I moved here when I was 19, when I got married. And then my marriage broke up in the late 80s. And then I moved into having another relationship, and then I'd been on my own for ages. I was quite happy being on my own. And then I went to Coral Bay and taught up there for a month, meditation and reiki and private sessions. And these guys just walked out of the pub one night. I was only there 2 minutes, and these guys walked out that I knew from years ago, and I said hello. And one of them was this
What?
beautiful man I'm with now. So
How many years had it been?
I met him again. So I knew him when I came here originally when I was 19. That was 2002.
Wow.
So it's just magic how things happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if we just step out of the way and let it unfold, it's not that hard.
I think that's kind of what's happening is whatever it is happening. The one thing that, or the thing or the realm as it affects all of us. And I think what you said about your, you said you were selfish, but this such a hard thing to explain, but it's not that you're just, you're taking care of yourself. You're nurturing yourself. And I think more people are coming into that, but there's a lot of catalytic energy out there.
Oh, absolutely. And I knew intuitively for quite a few years that something was going to happen, but I didn't know what was going to happen. But I felt intuitively that something had to change because we weren't going on a very nice track at all with Mother Earth, humanity, technology. Yes, technology is great because look, this is what we're doing. But I think it's like everything. There's a balance, and people finding the balance in what fits. And it's like I know I come to a place I have no right to tell anybody what to do. Even with my daughters, I just say, "Can I suggest?" And if they say no, that's the end of it. And they do.
Yeah, well,
And they,
sovereignty is sovereignty.
yeah,
Or you don't suggest anything.
no.
I mean, what you're saying, and I keep saying this. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's a walk the talk kind of climate. What I mean by that is, at some level, own what we are, what we all are,
Yeah.
and once and for all be done with the human condition that's not real and embrace the human condition. But
Yeah.
I mean,
And like I'm very mindful of, I don't want to judge anybody.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
here to judge anybody. I'm not. I remember when I was running along the beach in the 80s that, one of the things that I think, I'm not sure if it was Leo Buscaglia or Jill Jampolsky said, but what I used to do was, every person that comes towards me on the beach, I send love. So I just sent love to every person that passed me, every dog, every person, and I think that's such a wonderful thing for all of us to do because we're all gifts and we're all here to give each other gifts. And it's like unwrapping your gift of who you are,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and not judge you, not criticize you, just love who you are. There's no right, no wrong, no good, no bad. It just is.
Yeah. Share and share. I mean,
Yeah.
I have a friend, Ty in Sedona, and he says, you got something like a true aligned download when it's instantly shareable.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I still try to put my arms around that short statement, but there's some truth to that.
Oh,
There's,
absolutely.
and not to say that one download is better than the other, but there's some truth to that.
Well, I've been watching you for a long time, but over the last at least month, the change I see in your beautiful face is amazing.
Thank you.
It's like you're just getting more beautiful and more beautiful with your soul of who you are. And it's just the most wonderful thing to see.
Thank you. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, what you're doing, Todd, doing what you're doing, and half the time you've had no sleep and you don't know, Morgan's over the other side of the world and you're there and you don't, like it's you're doing your journey in Technicolor here, you know? And it's amazing that you front up, you know, that takes balls and courage and it's just so beautiful because we need this. We need what you're doing. We all need it. We all need to know that we're all connected. We're all one.
Hmm.
One person lights a candle and it's lit for the world.
Hmm.
One person does a prayer, one person, I remember years ago when I was doing kinesiology, and I learnt that by doing that, and there was sexual abuse involved, by doing that, that you help that with every woman on the planet. You know, so there's so much that we do that we're not selfish. You know, none of this is selfish. We think we're selfish because that's how we've been programmed, but we're not selfish, because every one of us that does one thing to improve our journey is the collective's getting it.
That's right. Even in an infinite field, with the considering the level of self work people have done, it has to be seen.
Yeah.
It's being seen. It will be seen.
I'm getting people come through now that are just waking up.
Yeah.
It's just the most magic thing. No. I don't know if I'm supposed to share this or not. I could get into trouble, but I was at hospice 2 weeks ago, and a lady came in, and I normally do 3 in a row, and she had a session, and she said, "Oh, I just love my husband to have this, you know. He's had one, but he didn't believe in it." And I said to her, I'm happy to. So we went out and I met him, and he's got a few challenges, and she has as well. And I said to him, if you would like to have a Reiki, I mean, this is all government, so I had to be very careful in what I was doing and what I was saying. So I had to get approval from them. So yes, I got approval to go up a different day and gave him some Reiki. And then as I was doing him, and it has happened, I'm not saying a lot, but it's happened often, that I get told that I need to give him 4 in a row. So I said to him after the session, I first went and saw the lady at the desk before I said anything to him, and she said, well, I'll have a look, I'll ask. So she came back and she said, yes, it's okay. So then we went back to him, and he said, okay. And he's about the same age as me. Well, I might be 2 years old. I'm 72, he's 74. And so he came the next day, and he said he could sleep better and he could breathe better. And then he came the next day, and he said, this is weird. He said, it's like I'm getting energy coming out of my fingers, and all the toxins that are in my body are coming out. And this is, this is a man that, and so we did the 4 sessions. He said it's the most amazing thing that's ever happened.
Wow.
So, and I'm not saying this because I do Reiki. What I'm saying is that everybody can do this. It's a smile. It's a time sitting talking to somebody. It's our essences. It's like when I ring Morgan or ring my kids, I want to see you. I want to see your eyes. I don't want to just talk and hear a voice. Because I think something happens when we see each other.
Mm-hmm. And
so just holding that person's hand, or whatever you do in your life that's your gift to share, that's all it is.
Yeah.
So beautiful. I'm so honoured. I've rattled on. I didn't know what I was going to say. I've given myself a hard time. My 3D body's going, and my 5D is going, you can do this, you can do this.
The best show is always the last one.
Uh,
That's
am I your last one?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah. But always, I mean, that's, I don't know. You can call it idealistic or whatever, but it's kind of like coming to Earth. Once you jump in there, you don't really have a choice, right?
well, I came out to my room and I went, I'm going to come out and I'm just going to sit quietly, and I've got my lingam and I'm sitting here and I'm so I'll read that poem, and so I'm sitting here and I'm asking for guidance, and then when you text saying, are you ready now? You're on now, and I'm going, oh God, it's 9 o'clock, but it was 10 o'clock. I was supposed to be doing it. Oh, what the hell? Let's just do it.
That even made it better. Then we took 20 minutes trying to get on. Oh, these 3D things sometimes.
I'm so sorry about that. I'm not good at technology.
No, I was me too. It was me too. Do you find in recent weeks that you have, I guess, like energy spurts, or you know what I mean? Like
I
you're,
didn't have a good day on Saturday. I was supposed to go to Perth. I mean, I'm finding now that I suppose the one thing that's really happened to me in the last couple of months is I'm paying attention to my body.
yeah,
If I've got to go and rest, or if I don't feel like whatever I'm going to do, if I can't do it, I don't do it.
yeah.
It's just like paramount now. It's like, on Saturday, I was supposed to go to Perth for my granddaughter's birthday. She was just having a morning tea, and I packed my car and everything, and then I went to get some lunch, and I felt really strange, and it was a bit like deja vu, or am I going to faint? Anyway, I end up thinking I better lay down on the floor, so I laid down on the kitchen floor, and then I thought, oh, I think I better go and lay down, so I went and laid down. So I laid down for a while, and I thought, oh, I feel better now. It's okay, I'll go back. And so I went back to try and eat. That same thing happened. So I just rang my daughter and went, I can't come. I can't. So I just for 2 days. So I went and had some acupuncture, which I have regularly. Guy, he's amazing. And I was saying to him, and he said, do you know that spring happened on Saturday? And I went, I'm not surprised because my jasmine out the back is flowering. And he said, yeah. And I told him what had happened. And he said, that could be why you could have taken in that change of Mother Earth energy. I don't know, Todd. I can't put words to it. I don't know anything anymore. All I know is I felt like shit, and it scared me.
Like I said, when you asked me how you doing, I said I'm a turtle. Just put your head in the shell and all your arms and legs.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be said for the solitary.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that there's got to be some rhyme to the reason that the solitude prepares us for a higher level of collective engagement,
Absolutely.
whether it be one person or a lot of people.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. And I think it's learning to not listen. I think it's learning for us. There's lots of things that's going on in the world. Freedom is one, like freedom.
Yeah.
I get freedom big time. I get love big time. I get, I hate being told what to do.
Yeah.
And so I have to do it my way.
Yeah. That's right.
And that is listening to what, even if I don't, a lot of people don't get me, but that's okay. It used to upset me, but it doesn't anymore. It doesn't matter to me now. I just need to, you know, for me to come and do this today is huge, because I'm a bit like Morgan. I'm quite quiet. Not that you'd think that. But I am. I've always been behind the scenes doing this. And that's how I've liked it.
I have faith in humanity.
And me too. I think we're amazing. I think we're absolutely amazing. I think for us to put up our hand to be here at this point in time, it's so exciting. It's so yummy. It's so, I haven't got words. It's just, yeah. But I think we're awesome. I think we don't know how awesome we are.
True.
You know, we don't know. We don't, you talk about love and people don't know. You know, like I've been in trouble all my life about love because, you know, you wear your heart on your sleeve and all that sort of stuff. And I've just loved people. But I've been taken the wrong way by doing that. And I think it's, for me, I've had to learn finally at this age that, yeah, I think I'm an okay person. Yeah. But it's taken a lot of years to love me. Bless you, Todd.
Bless you.
We're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we put our hand up to do this.
Mm-hmm.
We forgot what we were putting our hand up for. It was hidden from us for so long and distorted and corrupted and all the words that are happening out there in the world at the moment. But it's like this, as I'm talking to you, I'm getting this image of this little seed that's popping through the earth. I am here and I can do it. And I'm going to the light. You know?
Yeah.
But some days you just want to die. And how do you explain all that? You know, like, you can't.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there's so many ways. But people have been talking about the Great Divide for quite some time. And what is that really? Well, I don't know, but it means to me that there's no space in between. And it's not judgment, and it's not about hierarchy, and it's not about anything, because everybody here is not just volunteered, but also they came with the intention to expand.
Yep. Yep.
So
And that's what we're doing.
I know. Yeah.
And we don't, it's like, I often say to clients, you know, they say, I wish I knew that that was going to happen. If we knew what was going to happen, we wouldn't even get out of bed in the morning.
No, this is why we've created the game, so we would forget to the levels we have. We will laugh in the end.
And laughter is so good, you know?
Of course, yes. And these constructions that we have, the pillars of the matrix, are not these fucking institutions and Vaticans, and it's not.
No.
It's the fear, victim consciousness.
Oh, huge.
We have all these words for what are a few words.
Yeah. And
So
it's like, you know, when this happened last year, you know, I sort of got hooked into, I want to know what's going on and all that. And then I went, oh God, I don't want to know. And then, so I left that. And then I went, oh, well, I really need to be informed. And so it was finding that very fine line of going, yes, I do need to be informed. And when I do know what's going on in my own self of what I see, then I can let it go. And like years ago, I can't remember, 5 or 6 years ago, David Icke came here to Perth. And so I drove up to Ascot and there was 2,000 of us. And it was a 10-hour session. Oh my God, how am I going to cope with that? And I had read a little bit about him, but he was just amazing. And, you know, the two things that I got it, I mean, it was just mind-blowing, but, and some of it was a bit, oh my God, I don't know if I can take that in, you know, that's a bit off the wall. At the end of it, somebody said to him, how come you haven't been assassinated? And he said, because I don't bring it into my dimension.
That's right.
And I thought, oh my God, I just love that.
Yeah.
I just love that. And the other thing he said was, and he sold me, was love will win.
Yes. I never heard him say that, but the first one, I even asked him about it when he was on the show. That really impressed me.
Yeah.
Now, I had heard it, and then to sit down with him and actually have the conversation we did to realize he was walking the talk.
Yeah.
Which was, regardless of his message, he goes, you know, he goes to work every day. He shows up. I mean, what choice do we have?
Yeah.
We can play in the old, whatever you want to call it. But all those words go away.
Yeah.
If we don't play.
And I mean, he's done this for 30 years.
I know.
You know?
He comes on, I think he comes on Monday, or what day is today? I don't even know what day it is.
I think I
Tuesday.
saw him on next week.
I think it's the 3rd, so it's, I guess, what is it, 7 days? Wow. Wow. These shows are therapeutic. I appreciate what you said.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no, I enjoyed it. There's, yeah. I mean, what can you say? It is what it is today.
Yeah.
And it's everything you said. Thank you.
Thank you. I love you.
You take care.
You too.
Peace out.
Bye.